Hey guys, it's time to Nefis and chill, and in this video I'm going to be talking about a changed Warden skill that may affect raid composition and also the Infallible Mage set in the Dragonhold patch. Now we are on the Dragonhold PTS, and looking at the skill, both Morphs and the base skill of Infection or Swarm has this new component, and the new component is that it afflicts targets with minor vulnerability. Now for those of you who don't know, in raids, typically one healer is always required to run Infallible Aether. And Infallible Aether, the 5P says your heavy attacks deal an additional 903 damage, or X amount of damage, and the enemies you damage with fully charged heavy attacks are afflicted with minor vulnerability for 10 seconds, increasing their damage taken by 8%. And Fetcher does the exact same thing for pretty much the exact same duration, except instead of heavy attacking with the first tick of your resto staff, because they did change Destro staves can't, or lightning staves can't apply it on the first tick anymore. It lasts for 10 seconds at the cost of about 2.4k magicka. And this is actually pretty significant, and no one has really talked about it much, so I figured I'd talk about it here. This does open up the realm of possibilities quite a bit. So the Infallible Aether set will probably be not used if you have, if you probably have a Magicka Warden healer. And the reason being is the cost is pretty low of Fetcher Infection, and this also does open up the possibility of, if you have a Mag Warden DPS, which is by no means the most terrible, at least, you don't need Infallible Aether, because Fetcher is always going to be up. And just to test it out, I did test it on a dummy. It does afflict minor vulnerability correctly, so this might spell the end of IA, maybe not. If you don't have a Warden in your group at all, or a Warden healer, but most groups do for raids, then yeah, IA will still be used. IA will still be used if you're like a Templar healer or something in a 4-man dungeon content, or a non-Warden. But this definitely puts the Warden healer and the Warden class a notch above. For the Warden healer, I think that this, with the additional changes to the Warden class or next patch, has definitely put it above the Templar healer class, finally, in my opinion. But yeah, that's pretty much the change, and it's not really hard to keep up from what I've found. And I think this will probably replace IA if you're running a Warden healer, or a Warden DPS, or a Mag Warden DPS, or a Stam Warden DPS in this case, because again, minor vulnerability applies to both morphs and skill. In addition, the removal of IA in favor of using the skill is definitely going to open up another option in terms of item sets for healers for a lot of fights. So that is pretty significant as well. Whereas fights where you couldn't slot certain sets, like maybe Gossamer or Worm or whatever, that's definitely a possibility as of next patch, if the changes on PTS keep hold. It's a pretty strong change for Wardens, honestly. Anyway guys, that is pretty much it. Just a short video showing you guys, hey, this is probably gonna be a pretty significant change right here, the skill. And I can't really think of any other place where you won't use it as a Warden DPS or Warden healer. Even the Warden tank could potentially keep it up, and which isn't far-fetched at all. So we'll see what happens for raid composition and item sets next patch, but I don't think IA is going to be truly needed as long as you have a Warden in the group anymore. And that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions about the skill or whatever, let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you guys next time.